All right, so it's recording, and I have your permission to share this. What to
Yes, you do.
post this
Yeah.
later? Okay, cool. All right, so I just call you Fury, right? Because you actually have a
Yep.
Chinese name here. It's kanji. I mean, something like something fire, furious fire, something like that. Hopefully, that's what you were
It's
going for.
Cantonese. Yeah.
Cantonese. All right, all right. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you can see here, this account went heavily down Archer. Well, not heavily. It went all in on Archer. Right. So right now you have
Yeah.
4 sets of Archer equipment. Some not unconventional choices. Really two sets of Archer armaments that at least has a hunter. We'll do the armaments at the end, but like there's
Yeah.
the stats look nice and clean, but it's missing inscriptions, right? Which is just missing a lot of stats. And then
Yeah.
we'll kind of go over the equipments, the kind of the thought process on where you should go next, to kind of like cycle on. I think you already mentioned. I think you probably already have an idea what I'm gonna recommend, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then we'll do armaments at the end. All right, so
Okay.
I think for this one, you should dismantle 2 sets, right? Like it sucks, but at this point, I'm not gonna lie, like I feel like even
No point.
the second best set of Archer right now is almost like slightly borderline to use. And part of the reason isn't because archers are so bad, they're not. It's like they have like a homing beacon on them, right? So in dot mode, whatever, everyone's just targeting archers. So it's almost like they have to be so much better to be usable. And so even though the second best archer march, and it's some combination of either Asher, Philip. I personally actually like Herman YSG a lot, but the problem with Herman YSG is then you don't really have a good pairing with ZL. Asher is, I'm not a big fan personally. Because one, it's archers, right? So it's not very fast, and then his march speed is
Yeah.
off alliance territory only. So
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've just been piling around different accounts the last month or so. I have Asher on territory, and he's either getting chased down or he's really slow, like pairing him with say like ZL or it just, I don't know. There's something with the mechanic of Asher that doesn't seem to work really well. The only one that I've used that I actually liked is Asher Phillip. Asher Phillip is pretty good, right? But like Herman YSG is pretty good. It's not that much worse, if it worse at all from a stat standpoint. So the very long-winded way of saying like it doesn't make sense to dismantle 3 archer sets. I think like you keep it for the future, even though like if you were gonna run a second march right now, archer will probably be the last thing you pick. But if it's already there, you keep it. But to go beyond that,
Yeah.
what you're really competing with always is, okay, if you have 3 archer marches, right? The third archer march, what are you doing it in lieu of, right? And if you're doing it in lieu of a first inf or first cav, that's crazy. If you're doing it in lieu of a second inf or second cav, that is still pretty crazy. So you want to pull the band-aid off sooner rather than later, right? If we just look at the set over here on the 2 sets on the right, if you don't count the accessories and you count all this equipment, it's 290 legendary mats to craft, right? It's 90 for the weapon, 60 for the helm, 60 for the chest, 60 for the legs, and then 40 for the boots and the gloves. Now, when you dismantle it, you get half, right? But since you have 2 sets, essentially you have 290 legendary mats to work with. And then in your account now, too, you have about 300, you said, and the...
It's around 500.
Oh, you have 500? Okay. Okay,
yeah, because
so,
there's loads of epics.
Okay, so you actually you would actually get to like a really good place, and then you get another like 290 by dismantling these 2. You have what, like some 90? We'll just count it. We'll just round up. We'll just say 800. right? So
Yeah.
290, and then if you're counting the accessories, right, 120 and 120, that's 240. That's 530, right? So if you
Yeah.
wanted two full sets with the accessories done too, that is 1060, right? So you're at
Okay.
about 800. You're a little off, right? But like you could get far enough right now. So let's actually go into what I think you should do, because you have a crit. I think it's called like Tacitus of the War Gods or something here, right? And it gives
Yeah.
attack, and then the Dragon's Breath legs also give attack. Should you just keep it? We'll kind of cover all of that, right? So this one
Okay.
is a comparison of three different like configurations. Don't worry, I already have what I think you should do, but it's just to kind of show you, right? So this is all stuff you have right now. Let's compare what's on the left here versus what's on the middle here. All right. So what's on the left here?
Yeah.
You essentially, okay, screw the set bonus, right? Besides just the 2-piece. And then you already have a crit Tacitus of War God here, so that saves you some future stuff, right? And then because you're not worried so much about the set bonus, you're also going to keep your KVK weapon and your helm. Really, if you compare, say, the stats, right, between these two, and this is obviously not crit. It's just kind of showing you, how do I want to word this? It's kind of showing you like where the baseline of each set is, right? And then also you can start gauging the upper end. You get 1% more
Yeah.
attack on the left, 1% more health on the left, and you lose 3% skill damage. Right now, would you take that? Like, which one would you? Which one would you take if I asked you?
Yeah, I'd want the skill damage. 1% attack and health is not worth. That's not a trade.
Right. So, but you can see how it's kind of minimal, right? It's like if you pick
Yeah.
1 and 1%, 1 and 1, as opposed to 3%, like it's like it's not some like egregious mistake, right? Now the argument kind of swings at towards the left. If you're like, okay, well, one of these is already crit, right? So you actually already start out further ahead. But I think like overall, like if you're thinking like projecting down to the future, long term, the one in the middle is going to have a little bit more upside, right? Just like with the skill damage, it's going to scale up and all that stuff. So I would say the one in the middle is a little bit better. And then if you look at the 2-4 configuration, right? And then the full 6-piece, essentially you're getting 5% more health, but then 5% less defense. If you run the 6-piece Dragon's Breath, and then you have 4% less attack. Right?
Yeah.
So what doesn't factor into this though is that as you start getting into the like Awaken, like 2, 3, all the way to 5, the KVK items just do a little better than the Dragon's Breath helm and the weapon, right? It is also more expensive, right? And it's like technically like more rare because you only get it during KVK. But
yeah,
that's kind of like the consideration there, right? So I think given what you have, I would actually recommend probably just going with one in the middle, and then
is there any sort of,
go ahead,
because of the way that the pieces that we've got at the moment, is there any sort of path for doing like the offset to Milky Way and Tacitus of the War God, and then 4-piece Dragon's Breath? Is that just something you never do that? Because I think part of the pieces that we have at the moment is like one of the sets probably has to end up that way.
Yeah. Well, okay, so if you gave away the helm and the weapon, right, for the Dragon's Breath, that's what you're asking for, right? So you sub out the KVK weapon and the KVK helm for the Dragon's Breath.
Yeah, because I've got one KVK weapon, one KVK helm, but I've got 2 full sets of Dragon Breath, and then like the third set is using the Milky Way and the Tacitus of the War God. Yes. So at some point, something's got to have non-Dragon's Breath.
Well, so what I think you should do, right? So this is what you have right now. You should run one 6-piece Dragon's Breath, and then one is a 2-4. right? Because if you don't,
okay.
if
So
you,
you're just gonna.
yeah. Because if you don't do that, you're essentially saying you're going to dismantle your KVK weapon in your helm, which I don't think you should do.
Okay,
Right.
that was
So
going to be my next question.
yeah.
Cool,
So
fine.
what I'm
Okay.
presenting here is like, okay, well, like, like you have a KVK weapon in the helm, right? So one, are you going to are you going to dismantle it? Which like the reason why I'm presenting this is just to show you the difference between like the 6-piece versus if you do the 2-4 versus if you try to save some of what you have, especially because you have a crit, and then is it worth it? And it's like, honestly,
Yeah.
all three of those I'm presenting you, it's pretty close, right? There's like a little minor, like I would prefer the one in the middle. I think it has the highest upside overall. The downside is,
Yeah.
you do, and you are kind of like locking in some like KVK stuff for this in the future, right? You kind of have to go down this path, and then there's just so many blueprints you could get for KVK, and like, yes, you get more stats as you get the awakens, but you're also paying a little bit more mats. I mean, yeah, a little bit more mats to do that.
Yeah.
But if you already have it,
I think
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think longevity it's easier to awaken Dragon's Breath, isn't it? So if you're using that as your 4, that gives you the basis to progress further that way anyway.
I don't even know if it's actually that much harder, just because like depending on like how what do you expect to do per KVK, right? Like how many coins are you going to get? What you don't want is a lot of different sets or marches. So for example, like if you were doing 2 archers, right? And both archers need the KVK weapon and the helm, right? And then you're also gonna do for whatever reason, which I don't think you should do, infantry, and you also want the KVK weapon and helm for infantry, right? And then you obviously need the Pride of the Khan and like the Sacred Dominion for calves. Like all of a sudden, you just like you can only get so many blueprints and so many coins per KVK. Like it's not really worth it. So like I think, the Pride of the Khan and the KVK weapon for the calves, you should definitely get. I think if you're running 2 calves, you still get it for those. I think if you're running 2 archers, to take away some of this, like to alleviate some of the bottleneck of just not being able to get enough blueprints, right? Like you do a KVK every 3 months essentially. You do 1 Dragon's Breath and then 1 with KVK helmet weapon, right? Because the different, I mean, there's a slight difference, but it's not that big. Where like this is more micro optimization, right? Whereas like the because of the way the calves are, you're not looking for the set bonus anyways. The Pride of the Khan and the KVK weapon makes a bigger impact on calves than it does on archers, right? And I just don't think just don't think unless you're doing rally garrison, I think you should just not do KVK at all for infantry.
That makes sense.
Right. So for this, since you already have 2,
That'd be
right?
Yeah.
Essentially, just take the KVK weapon and helm, put it here, and then you just dismantle the rest, right? And you get 290 mats, right? So I actually thought you had no mats, right? So then the next question was, okay, you have 290 legendary mats to play with. How are you going to construct what's next, right? If you have enough, right? Let's just say you have, so you're going to have 790, right? And it costs 290 for each. Do you have enough blueprints right now to actually make the cav and infantry, or no?
No. So I think it would be it leans more towards infantry than it does cav for legendary pieces.
Right.
But neither of them are a full set. I think they're both like 3 of each or something like that.
Okay. Well, if you are gonna
There's no set piece.
Yeah, if you are gonna prioritize the pieces to build and still make it usable, what's on the screen here is kind of where you would go. Some people will make an argument that the cav helm, the purple cav helm, is better than the blue one, right? Like purple cav helm is, I think, is attack. Blue cav helm is defense, but it's usable, especially if you're not gonna be fighting at like a very high level, KBK, right? So the one on the left will cost you 220. The one on the right will be 153. But I think like I was gonna recommend, it's you want to go in first, anyways, right? Because whatever has Lucia in it is going to be the best march in the game, and we're literally like right on the verge of another inf being announced. I'm shocked that it's
Yeah.
April and it's not out yet. I thought we would have found out like late February, and then like by this time, I thought we would already be like using the inf and then like talking about it. But I think they went a little crazy like over that period of time with the new range commanders, and then releasing like Ragnar, all that stuff. I think that's why they maybe like waited a little bit longer, which I don't really mind.
Pushed it all back,
right? But if you have 790 mats, including dismantling these two, right? I mean, it finished the basically everything that's not legendary first, and then just do accessories. The only one I would say, like, if you want to actually like technically be like what's most efficient for progression, like min-maxing, is to actually not do the Karox humility. Like, you keep the Karox humility, and then you actually do the Karox humility last after you finish all your accessories, if you wanted to do that. But it's, again, like these things, it's very minor. It's not that big of a deal one way or another.
It's got, I think there is a few blueprints for Eternal Night, so I suppose it comes into question then, if you take that and awaken it, would that then make it better?
It gets better than Karox humility when you hit Awaken 2. If you have a regular Eternal's Night and then you put Iconic in it, it's still worse than the Karox humility. And the not because, right, because there's so much more stats, but because of how deficient infantry is in health and how much defense they have, it starts changing that math a little bit. And funny enough, actually, the Karox humility is better than a leadership pants, which also gives you health plus the base health with the iconic crystal. Karox humility is actually still better because infantry has so little health. Base health actually brings less value to infantry than just regular health. You know what I mean? Because like the regular health scales off of the base health, right? So when you try to actually add some base health and there's just not enough regular health in the equipment and stuff, it actually isn't as good. So it's kind of weird how that ended up working out. But that's how like you have enough mass, right? So now it's just like getting the blueprints, and then as far as accessories,
there's a couple of blueprints in there.
What do you have right now?
If I remember correctly, it's dagger, the skill damage one, which I forget the name of, and something else. It's probably like a coin or something. I forgot that it exists because I was never going to make it.
Yeah, so so first you have to like, I was gonna like bring this because you don't even have a iconic, and I assume you have enough iconic crystals, right? This counts oldish.
Got 9.
Okay.
9. Yeah, 9.
Okay, so you could do, and then whenever you get into an XKVK, you'll be able to do 2 sets. So the first question with accessories is like, what are you gonna do with the dagger, right? If you're gonna keep the dagger, then you have to craft another one. If not, just dismantle it, get 60 back, and just go with like a bunch of rings and horns. And we'll create a glory.
Well, yeah, because I watched your video recently and I was like, well, I've got one. I've got a blueprint for 2.
Yeah.
So shouldn't I just take the second dagger, put that on infantry march and profit? But I'm thinking that's only 3 marches. Does that still work out?
Yeah, it's like, it's one of those where the less marches you have, like technically the less like your marches will directly benefit from it. Right? Other marches will, but you don't see their reports. Like you don't get credit for their trades. Right, so it's one of those like where it's like you could be like kind of an unsung hero. So if you saw the videos, right, there with one stack you get what, like, I'm just ballparking. You get like a little less than 2% more damage taken, right,
Yeah.
with one stack, right? With two stacks, you're getting like 4 to 5%, depending on which shoe type. With three stacks, you're getting like a lot higher, right? In like ball
Yeah.
fighting, the question is, okay, well, if you even get one or two stacks, which you can actually get two stacks on one turn if you have two daggers, like, is it worth it? Like, for me, I like it, right? I think when you start getting past the ring, I think the ring is by far the best accessory in the game right now. Like, every single march you have a ring. All right, like from the map,
Yeah.
like the greatest glory with smite commanders gives you just essentially 5% moral damage, right? Because you're doing 5% more normal damage, 5% more smite. The ring, because it lasts for 2 seconds. If it triggers once, the math actually, it gets you close to 10% more damage. It's not 5, because it's not 50% for 1 second. It's 50% for 2 seconds. It's there's a 5-second cooldown, so it gets close to about twice as good as the greatest glory, right? Except one is very boom or bust. The greatest glory is just consistent all the time, right? But like when you're actually calculating math, you don't calculate, oh well, this is more boom or bust. Like the value proposition is different. It's not. It's literally bringing over time almost twice as much value from a damage increase standpoint, right? So for you would have one ring. Literally, you should just be crafting like rings, and then like if you just do decide to do dagger, another dagger, then you craft another dagger and then rings, or you just dismantle that and then just get like one ring on each march first, and then you start kind of like figuring out, okay, for the Lucia one I probably want greatest glory, right? And then for the other three, you're probably just going to do horn. All right, so
Okay.
well, I don't know which way you're leaning. Like, do you want to keep your dagger or no?
I'm not especially attached to it. I did like the idea of having, because I think I remember you said 2 daggers in one turn. It's like 82% to get a 2 stack on that turn because you've got the 2 daggers.
Well, no, it's not 82% to get it in that turn. I think it's 82%. No, it's higher than that. No. So basically, if you have 2 daggers, you have like a 89% chance that you're gonna add another stack before it drops off over 3 turns. Now,
Right. Okay.
if it's like 30%, right? If it's 30% to put a stack on, right? 30% of 30% is actually the math to get 2 stacks in one turn. I don't know. It's early. My brain kind of is slow. I have to think of that math right now. But you get the idea. It's like it's somewhere like oh, now I have to think about it. Let me think. Is that like for some reason I want to say like it was like 12% or something, but it's closer to like 10%. So in a turn, there's like a 10-12%, something like that, to get 2 stacks in one turn. Right. You have like a 60 something percent chance. No, you have like a 50% chance.
I see. Yeah, okay.
You have
you have a 2 stacks before dropping off 77% with 2 daggers,
and then you have like close to and with 2 daggers you have close to a 50% chance every turn to add a stack. Right, and one stack is like high 1 point something percent to about 2% more damage taken to that march. Right, so like you make contact for like 2 seconds. that means like it's about 75% chance for it to like at least one add a stack. It's definitely like it's adding value. It's just you either believe in it and you go down that route, or you don't. And if you don't, I don't have any desire to like try to convince people, because I present math, whatever. I went down that route. Some people like they just don't see the value in it, or they then just like don't do it, like, or else like having these two freaking daggers in your march is very, very painful when you think, oh well, I could be so much better off doing something else. So
Hard to look at, right?
yeah, like that's why I'm not like strongly like telling you should keep it or you should whatever, because it's whether you like believe in like it adding the value that you think it does, because open field is very fluid, right? So like, here's an interesting one, right? People argue, well, okay, well, you don't stay connected with the dagger long enough. I'm like, well, you have to connect, right? Because you have to actually do a basic attack to trigger the dagger, but you also have to do a basic attack to trigger the horn, right? So why is it like, why are you okay with needing basic attacks to trigger the horn, and then it's so valuable and so awesome, but like if you're going to be doing the basic attacks to trigger this accessory, right? You have a actually double the chance, right, with a dagger, and it's just straight up going to make the target take more damage instantly. Like, why is that not valuable, right? So it's like
the same applies to the ring as well, isn't it? If you're not doing the attack, you're not benefiting from the damage the ring gives you anyway. So they've all kind of in that chain. You have to be connected to the target to benefit from any of them.
Yeah, technically the only one you can make an argument for, and there's a lot of downsides, it's actually the drum, right? Because you can actually like do a basic attack, and then like other people can like preload the rage and stuff, but then there's like cooldowns. It's just I don't know, it's just not good in my opinion. That one I feel pretty strongly about, but so people agree or disagree. All right, so I'll let you figure that out. If it was, I'll just tell you this. If it was me, I would probably just keep it, and then just craft another one.
That is what I said to my friend to do. So
I'm just like I'm just not as high on rage as I feel like a lot of the people that are like obsessed with rage. Rage is essentially a component of time, right? Because what it's, you have to figure out like how much the potential to fire an active skill a second faster 50% of the time, which is about 100 rage, right? Like how much is that worth, right? Like because then you can start, okay, well I think this is worth this much, right? Like, and then I think everyone's not everyone, right, but like different people, they either don't even think about that at all, or maybe the way they value that is different than the way I value it. And I feel like seeing a lot of people give their take on it, most people don't even think about it that way, which then what are we doing? But the people that do think about it that way, I feel like they do value that a little bit more than me, right? So like, but I'm fully aware, like it's against probably the popular narrative right now, like to not be as high on rage as a lot of people are. All right, but if you do dismantle it, you still want a ring on every single march. There's no accessory that comes close to the ring, right? And then from there, it's okay deciding like if you get a ring on every march, whether you decide to go 2 daggers or just put a horn on everything, or maybe you put a greatest glory, like that is all like micro optimizations. But if you miss out on the ring on a march, that's the biggest mistake. That's a big takeaway I want you to get from this. Like if you were doing, I'm okay with someone running a ring and a horn on Luce, right? Fine, right? Yeah. Like fine. Like I think it's you could squeeze a little bit more value out of another accessory, but like for someone to run a horn and a drum and to skip out on a ring on a march, that's like egregious to me. That's just blatant like mismanagement of an account. Like I feel very strongly about just missing out on a ring. But if you have a ring and then you want to choose between whatever, it's you know, like I have my opinions, but it's like a much smaller scale, quote unquote mistake. You know, like from my standpoint.
So even though the greatest glory on Liu, for example, is 8% all damage, which isn't that higher than the ring?
It's 5%. Why would it be 8%?
I thought greatest glory was 8%.
No, that's 5%.
Normal damage.
No, that's 5%.
Oh, it's 5.
I think 8%. I think you're thinking of like vengeance or something. I think counterattack. That's the only thing I could think of. That's 8%.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
okay. So the greatest glory is 5%, right? The ring, because it procs for 2 seconds, right? So if the ring was 1 second, right, and then it triggers once in 10 turns, which, like, you know, with the cooldown, whatever, it'll come out to about 5% damage per turn on average, right? But because it's 2 seconds, it actually comes out closer to 10%. The only reason why it's not 10% is because there's a 5-second cooldown on the ring, right? So literally mathematically, the ring is about twice as good as the greatest glory. Not quite, but close to twice as good.
And that's even with its chance-based activation.
Well, yeah, because it's a 50% increase to damage.
Yeah.
Right, 50% increase to damage, but 10% to trigger. That comes out to 5% per turn, right? But it's 2 seconds. When there's a 5-second cooldown. So like you plug all that in, it comes out to not quite 10%, but like it's like 9.7 or 9.8. It's pretty close.
Yeah.
Okay,
so then that would make my third march would end up being essentially, whether it's infantry or cavalry, it's going to be probably a dagger and ring.
If you decide to keep the dagger. Now, if you're gonna craft 2 daggers, then I think you actually you probably just skip greatest glory and just put a dagger on Luce. So like the value of the dagger is also amplified by like putting it on Luce. And that's why, just, you know, because you're gonna run 4 marches. Right. So like if I was gonna do this, you have 2 horns, right? And let's just pretend number 3 is Inf, number 4 is Cav. I would do ring. I would actually do ring horn on whatever your faster archer march is, and then eventually like a ring and a flag in the meantime on your slower archer march, right? And like basically like all of these here, it's probably worth also getting rid of. Just to
I think I already have.
Just like however many flags you have, just put flags on there. It just brings more value to me than almost all of these. This Delane's actually is really good for siege, but you don't have a siege, so it doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
But like priority for you is, okay, like if you're gonna have 1 dagger, at least make it more useful. Just get 2 daggers and then just rings across the board, right? And then so it looks like you'll be able to do dagger and then ring, right? I think that's probably the way to go for you. Is 3 rings and a dagger will be your next accessory.
It'll be 2 rings, wouldn't it? Because I can't put 2 rings on 1 march.
Well, no, 3 rings because you want a ring on each march. Does that make sense?
I see. So you're gonna move the.
Yeah, because right now you only have 1 ring, and you literally have a march with a dagger and a horn.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'd end up with ring horn.
You'd be ring horn on 2, and then ring dagger on 2. So dagger will go on Luce, and then the other dagger will probably just go on your Cav march. Especially, actually, definitely it'll definitely be the Cav march because of what I'm going to recommend you do with your calves. Okay. So now, as far as investing in commanders, right? You already have Luce, that's good. I would actually do Luce and then just wait for the next inf. There's like no reason to invest in any inf other than Luce right now, because we have no idea what the next inf is, right? So like you have to wait to see what the next inf is before you make a decision on the next inf. Obviously, you get Arthur for Cavs, but I would actually recommend you skip any of the other Cavs and just do Philip. Okay, and Philip, you could run Arthur Philip for your Cav March, right? Arthur primary, and Arthur Philip is good. It does a lot of damage, but it also gives you like versatility because now maybe like if you need, you could switch it over to Archer, right? You could do ZL ZL Philip Herman YSG. You could do ZL Herman and then Asher Philip. Right? There's just like a bunch of versatility. You can even do Lucia Philip if you want. Right? So like Philip is going to be like relevant for a long time, like serving a bunch of different roles. And I just think right now, right? Because if you invest in Philip, if you invest in Arthur, that's another 1380 gold heads.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna have to invest another like 690 when the new inf comes out, probably. Right, which will kind of like, which will kind of give you enough left to be ahead when you're waiting for the next Archer to come out.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah,
like,
that should work.
so essentially, yeah, you're investing in commanders where like there's going to be like long term. Like so, right? Like if you invest in R3, is going to be long term. Lucia is going to be long term. Philip is going to be long term. And then the new inf, if he or she is worth it, I think it's going to be that guy Baichi. That was like leaked in the Chinese WeChat thing. Right. It's gonna, if you do decide to pull the trigger, there'll be enough info on him. Like he's should be long term, like worth it long term. Right. And then from there, when the new Archer,
if new infantry though is smite damage, what would you do with Liu?
that would be perfect.
Sorry, isn't smite damage. English is hard, man. English.
Yeah.
Liu isn't. Liu gets what? Liu gets who? Who would you put with Liu if the new guy is not smite damage, or would you still just put him with Liu?
Well, to be fair, like Scipio's not smite damage, Alex isn't smite damage, and it's gone fine with Lou, right? So like, it would have to be a pretty big flop for you to not invest in them.
Okay.
Okay. Now,
yeah, that's fair.
Here's a crazy thing. If that's the case, then you probably just put Philip behind Lucia, and then you choose to either invest in Joan or Arthur. I mean Joan or Hua to pair with Arthur.
Okay.
Right, but like I think the chances are very low.
Yeah.
Right. So, but regardless, I think like Lucia and Arthur for sure. I mean, you already got Lucia. Arthur for sure you're gonna get. Right. And then it's just like, okay, well, how do you pick, right? Because you're not gonna pick an Archer to invest in right now. Right. You're like the Cavs. It's like, okay, well, is Hua or Joan a better long-term investment for you for Cavs, or is it gonna be Philip that isn't locked in the Cavs? You can use them somewhere else. And then like when the next Cav commander comes out, your one Cav March would be Arthur and the new Cav commander, right? And then like Philip could still be used elsewhere and it's not wasted. Whereas like if you invest in Joan or Hua right now, what happens when the next Cav comes out? You're going to run one Cav March, right? It's done. Like,
Yeah.
It's going to be wasted. So
Makes sense. Yeah.
okay. And if you do that, then for the two Archers, oh man, see, like, I'm just in the meantime. Probably the way to run it would be like ZL, like Asher YSG, and then ZL Herman. And then you're gonna have to try to stack as much march speed as you can onto the Asher YSG just to make it more viable. right? Or like maybe maybe you want a little bit more March speed, you could do like Nebu or something, right? But like it's basically you just have to wait till the next archer comes out, and then you will at least be able to like have 2 good pairings without having to use Philip there.
Yeah.
Okay, so like a lot of this is it's setting up for what you think is going to happen with the next like few cycles. I'm the infantry cycle and the archer cycle. I kind of wish we knew when the next infantry is going to come out. But it just can't be that much longer, right? Like I'll be shocked if it is, because I'm already pretty shocked, but it's because it's been what, 3 months? Arthur was released in January.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Wow. That's flown by.
yeah, so basically, the big thing is Philip instead of a cav. I'm pretty confident you're gonna go Philip regardless, right?
Yeah.
Lucha, you already got Arthur and Philip, and then just wait until you find out what the next inf is before you make another move.
That makes sense.
Okay, and then this way you'll be able to run 2 archers, 1 inf, one cav. One cav should be Arthur Philip, and then ZL hopefully the new inf, and then you will run not a ZL, Lu Chen the new inf, and then with the archers some combination of Herman, ZL, Asher, and then you're either going to choose between Nebu or even Boudica, honestly. Nebu, Boudica, or YSG. If it was me, I would probably just do Asher, YSG, and just try to stack as much March speed as I can onto that. So like maybe get the boots to Awaken 4. Definitely put a flag on there. Things like that, just to, because
I think the 2 pairs that are set currently are ZL Herman and Asher YSG. I did look at Asher Nebu, but the only time I tested him was in Canyon. He seems to just get absolutely wrecked. I don't know why.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, the March speed makes a huge difference. So I don't, like Nebu was before my time. Like, I'm just not a big fan of Asher's lack of March speed, and like it's like he has March speed, but it's it's kind of like funky. I would try Asher YSG, see if it feels too slow. Try Asher Nebu on the field. I think it's if it suits a little bit better. Right, or like the other thing is yeah, no, you're not gonna do it, because I was gonna say you could like pull Philip away from the cat, like from Arthur, then you could use him. That would make it really easy. Then you just do ZL Philip and like or ZL Herman and then Asher Philip. That would be super easy. But then you have to invest in another calf, right? So I think
I suppose the other option is hold calves, so you sit at 3 marches instead of 4. But that doesn't really feel.
Yeah, I think it's Asher. I think it's Arthur Philip, Luce the new inf, and then some combination with Asher, depending on like do you prefer more March speed, or like a little bit more, or just like more damage. But that's part of the reason why like it's really hard to even recommend people go to Archer right now, unless before the 6th March. And for sure not like 3 archers or 4 archers.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
What about, so before new infantry comes out, who are you putting with Liu? Does it matter? Would you just run it as 2 marches?
Well, here, let's actually go take a look and see what options you have. Ideally, you're not investing. Here, let me switch over to the... Okay, can you see that?
Yeah,
see
it'll
it?
come.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
The interesting thing with Luce is you could like run him with almost anything, and it's, for some reason it seems to work. I mean, honestly, like in the meantime, you might just run Charles behind him. You know,
Yeah.
because like, like, what are you gonna do right now? Right? Are you gonna invest in Scipio? No. You're like, it just. If you invest in another commander, you're gonna go from having about like 500 gold heads to actually being short about what, like 190 gold heads right now to max another commander. I just don't think it's worth it. How much you have left?
Yeah.
Because you have 2,500, right? So essentially, you can do 3, and your 3 should be Arthur, Philip, and then the new imp, right? And then you have like 400 something ish left over. I would just run Charles until you find out the new imp, because it like, honestly, like you don't even know when you're gonna get into KVK, right? By the time you actually get into KVK, it might be perfect when he comes
True.
out. Yeah. You have a museum on this guy? Let's see. Where's the museum? Oh, kind of looks similar.
Bottom, I think.
Oh, here we go.
With the head.
Oh, yeah. Oops.
That one, yeah.
All right. I mean, oh, you have 13,000. Yeah, just put put one down. Put 1,800, and this will be like more than good enough. Yeah, I would just do that for now. This guy maxed out the Alex Museum. Alex is a like level 10 with 5111, right? Wow. Okay.
Ask no questions, hear no lies. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Cool. And then let's actually take a look at your blueprints. Why not? All right. All right. A lot of Milky Ways. Grips. Oh, for the infantry, let's see. I already said it. Yeah, just do the 4-piece Eternal Empire with Hope Cloak and Eternal Night. Please don't do KVK weapon or. Okay. I think you're actually just missing blueprints. So.
Yeah, that's the main bottleneck at the moment is blueprints. Right. It's got like no none of the set piece stuff. Anything other than
some of these can be combined, but still, yeah. Okay.
None of the ones that they wanted.
I mean, honestly, having to get blueprints is way easier than having to get a bunch of mass in a short time, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Any questions with progression from that part?
No, I think that will make sense.
Okay,
that's all
cool.
okay.
Let's take a look at your armaments. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's clean this up. It's wild.
It shouldn't be too difficult. I was having a look at it the other day, and there's actually not that many of them that have an inscription or like useful stats or anything.
So we're just gonna get rid of all the.
Probably not gonna be too bad.
All the epics and blues can go. We don't need them.
Yeah.
Oh my god. 1,216. All right. There you go.
That's fun.
I know, it's pretty satisfying to get rid of. Okay, so now this is all gone. We don't need these. Whoa, 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 whoa.
That's Scott.
I was gonna say,
Oh, yeah.
careful.
That's all right. No, you have a secondary password on here? Oh, I guess not, because I already deleted something. Okay. Okay.
I was gonna say no.
Okay. So. Okay, let me think. That's a lot. How am I gonna do this? Actually, let me check and see your wish. So it's at 3.
I think that's at 0. Yeah.
Okay. Is that the only thing that's I assume it's just gonna be.
I'm fairly sure. Yeah.
It's just gonna be.
Yeah, this is gonna be 0. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So you're. I mean, you're just gonna pull wedge, right? Because. Actually, wait. I lied. No, you're gonna pull arch.
I was gonna say it should be. Is it? There's like 4 arch, in there. So.
There should be a what arch in there?
There's like 4 arch inscription armaments in general. There's like.
There's not a lot. Yeah.
So,
yeah, because if you're gonna run if you're gonna be running Arthur primary, which you're also kind of setting up for the future, right? Like it's you know, probably it's more than 50% that the next cav commander is probably going to be pairing with Arthur as primary, right? If they're gonna go down that combo damage route, it'll be kind of weird. They release one combo damage cav commander and then go back to skill damage. Like,
yeah,
that would be more of a break from like what's likely. So your wish list is not far enough along. I think it's actually worth it for you to just start pulling arch. And then let me see.
I think I don't know if the wish list is on. I don't know if it matters because I think the armaments are all on Herman rather than ZL. Yeah, they're all on Herman.
Oh,
so.
yeah. That's fine. Okay. So we'll clean this up. Well, I'll just select. Okay. These are already selected, right? Just in case. Ooh. That thing was on a hunter. Okay.
Damn.
Right,
Always worth checking.
Yeah, man. Make sure you select that. Okay. So let's actually let's start going through this. None of these are locked too, so all right. It's okay. You have a lot of. Do you have any aspirations ever going with Siege or no?
No, not in the short term at least.
Right. Okay. Save that though, just in case. I think this actually might be. It's close. I think I would actually.
Take the attack.
Yeah, for Siege. I mean, it's like you don't even have plans right now, but. I mean, you might be able to get a freaking balance out of this, or invincible or something. It's crazy. Let's see.
I think it's 700 and something legendaries.
Yeah, that's what I saw earlier, right?
Moves.
This
Yeah.
one's a lock for sure.
All damage cap is what, 2%?
2%, yeah.
Yeah.
But you only have like a 3% chance of even getting all damage. So like even like a 0.5. 0.5 all damage isn't good, but the chances of that even showing up is like very low, right? Whereas like depending on the slot, it's like 13 to like about 17%. For like a calf stat or inf stat or something. So all damage is already very rare to get. So you want to lock these because they're essentially like a really good starting place to start from.
Yeah.
Um,
If you put an inscription on that armament, do you then get the reroll chances?
yeah, then you get 10, and then if you use it up, then you get those transmutation crystals.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like this guy just opened all his crates just to see if we could up the value of the count. Like that's probably the mindset.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's no crates. There's a bunch of these that look like they were just opened. We'll need that. 1%. Maybe save it. This is crazy. All right. That you could just inscribe over in the future, but
Yeah.
save that for now. Loose is really good for, again, V formation. Actually, no, it's not. I always get loose and line shot confused. Loose is not that good. Okay. Wasn't that bad.
Less in there that's of any use than I thought it would be, to be fair.
The what?
Less in there that of any use than I actually thought there would be.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. It's all right. I don't know. I feel like my armament luck has gotten worse lately. Huh? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, is there a stat point on like a triple? So if you have archer or cav or infantry doesn't necessarily matter, but is there a point at which a triple stat is worth holding to? Is it like 3% plus, or needs to be maxed, or
a triple stat? You mean in like this slot?
Yeah, that hasn't got an inscription on it. Is there one you'd ever hold on to, or you just?
Yeah, I always hold on to one, and then like if I get something better, then I just recycle the one I was holding on to, just because you're kind of projecting into the future, right? So there's a triple stat one right now. There's essentially you can't inscribe over it, right? Like it's very very hard to get an inscription, and when we get an inscription, a lot of them suck. Right, whereas like it could be in the future where you can actually get an altart for different slots, or there's another mechanism where you could do it, then right, it would make sense. But like right now, a high triple stat, you're essentially betting on like in the future the developers will change something where that triple stat could be used, and it's not just going to be sitting there and going to waste. So the like if it's like an emblem with like 2.2 across the board, like it's not really even worth it for me to keep it, because it's not even that high of an upside, and like you could probably just outroll it with enough resources, and it's just you don't even know if you can inscribe over it in the future yet. So I try to keep one for each troop type, but the standard is fairly high to even keep it.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's kind of like the risk reward. That should not be saved. Is this 2 pacifiers? Jeez.
Yeah.
I feel like I might have to lock that for now. Alright. Ooh, we have 2 doubles. Take a look at it at the end.
I think one of them is good, and the other one really isn't.
Not good? Alright. Did you have any...
I think it's something and barb damage.
Yeah, did you have convergence stones left, or I actually don't remember. I don't think I saw any.
I think there's 7 stones.
Oh, there's okay. I might need to use some. These are so bad. They're just all sitting here.
It was definitely a quick rip, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. This wasn't even like, I'm not sure. This is just like, let me just open it. You know, if I get a special, then
Makes
you
it
know
like
my account is worth more. But
Yeah.
if not, fuck it. Next guy could deal with it.
Yeah. Make it seem like I got a shed load of armaments, so you got loads of choice.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot. Let's see. It's crazy. It's healing. I don't need that.
Is your Quietal not quite good? I always thought your Quietal was half decent.
Quote, I'm not a big fan of. So essentially, you have a 10% chance to deal 100 damage factor with a 5-second cooldown. Like it's I mean, I guess it could be worse, right? But like it's 100 damage factor. Like so, basically, you could expect this to trigger like once. Like you're doing 100 damage factor, every skill cycle. You know, it's okay. I mean, it's not. It's just like very very inconsequential. This one I keep. Right now, you still need something, right? Keep this one for now.
Something in the slot.
Yeah, luster's not good. Battle's okay. Right now. Oh wow. Well, this is your this could be your barbing march. We'll keep this save it. Not for field.
Yeah, if you're gonna send archers to kill barbs.
This is very unfortunate.
Oh wait, they're both.
Yeah.
They're both an Exa. Okay.
So keep that for now. Alright. God. Alright.
I didn't even see that she had still had armaments on her.
Yeah, keep that for now, but so okay, we'll do it after I recycle all of these. But the more limited you are in like armament resources, so like transmutation stones, like all that stuff, it actually the best way to close the gap is to hoard. Like the longer you hoard, the more value you get. So we'll see if it's even worth it to roll for you, because like none of the inscriptions are not that great so far, right? So it's almost like, oh, is it worth it for you to just kind of wait till you get a rare or like a better like white inscription, at least, you know, like a robust, like for health,
Yeah,
breaker or something, and then you roll. Because right now, like you have like armored and stuff, right? So like, yeah, it'll be an improvement, but you could easily just get something that's a little better inscription comes along, and then it's like, oh, did I make a mistake using those too soon? So we'll take a look though. Let's see.
Yeah.
I'll save that for siege. Strategic is pretty good. It's a poor man's assertive. So this is 2%, right? When you do surrounded true, assertive is just 2% on the map. So I don't know why they have that.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to. Oh, what is this? Oh, you have one. All right, we'll take a look at that too. Oh, yeah, you have robust. Okay, actually,
Yeah.
that's actually a little bit more to work with than I was expecting. Let's see. So we're gonna do a wedge only. Right, we just look through all of them. So that's 400.
Yep.
There we go. Okay, so then, oh god. All right, I guess we'll look through it.
Some of it is just completely random.
These are all random. Like none of these are saved. It's kind of crazy. Ooh. Not sure what slot is this. Okay. Okay, good. This one for sure we want. This one will probably be converted.
Yep.
Artisan's okay, I think. Yeah.
They adjusted that one, didn't they? Because it used to say just 3% more skill damage, and now it says 3.5% skill damage of all types. Or is that just my 3% more less skill damage?
I think it's for ranged and not ranged. I think that's what I meant. It's still skill damage, right? But like when I say all
I just
types,
don't remember it always saying. Yeah.
yeah. The reason why they added it was because like for some of them we found like when it says like you do more, say like counterattack, but like it's like range counterattack or something. So that's why they added that in. It's a little confusing.
All right.
Nice. That. This is 1%. Is it worth it? Why not? Ooh. That one's pretty good. Okay. There's a double here.
Don't get your hopes up though.
No, this is awesome. Actually, this is really good. Holy crap!
Oh.
That's really good.
Better than I thought it'd be.
There's another scroll slot. All right. Let's see. That's probably the best inscription I've seen so far in here.
The bar is low though.
Let's see. Here's another. But you can actually switch. We'll see.
What would you put them to though? So you'll send them. Would you want to put them both to Arch or?
I have to take a look at it after I clean everything up.
Oh yeah.
All right. Hopefully this never happens again. This many.
Yeah, this won't. This won't be repeated.
This is okay. That's pretty good. Something to work with there.
I often wonder if some of them have actually got enough to work with as like a baseline.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, sometimes you like something like this, right? Like here, I mean, here he did one, but there's nothing, right? So you literally just don't lock anything and see if you can like use one stone and maybe get lucky.
One stone dream.
Yeah, but the chances go down dramatically if you don't start from a good place. To be able to do it in 10 turns.
Yeah.
Yeah, it still keeps going. Right here, or save that. No. All right, I think we're almost done.
Judging by that bar on the right, yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah. This slot is damage, normal damage. Yeah. Maybe. This is a lot.
A random order these ones as well.
No. This one you can scribe over. Oh yeah, it's a scroll. Okay. It's a really good. Com sucks, but maybe something you can scribe over. Even though you don't really need it for Archer. So we'll see.
There might be one that you can replace.
Yeah, but it's still 1.9% all damage, right? So
yeah,
switch it to something else, if anything. Okay, we got through here. Okay, so now
just do that.
All right. I should get a few more stones. Maybe we'll get a lucky inscription. Assertive is actually in the rewards. Oh my god, you can only buy one more. All right. So you won't have enough to get 8 today. Get assertive? Can't even get a. Oh my god! All right. All right, you're at 5 now. So let's see what we're working with now. Yeah. 29, so there's not many. Inscribe the robust, which is good. Let's see what this does. Oh. Oh, this is awesome. Wait a minute. You got 2 hunters that aren't from Autarchs? Or you got 1? Looks like you got 1, right? There's only 1. Okay. Oh, wow. You should, oh, but it has to be the same,
Yeah, I think it has to stay as a wedge. It can't turn into.
that would have been, if you could do straight to the point for Arch, would have been sick. It would probably be Intrepid, though. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Oh, then, we could probably put the Robust on that one, then. Where is it? This one? Okay, we'll mess around with that. Let's take a look. Okay, wait, that's a different one. I thought you had what happened to your 2 sets? Okay, what's
Yeah, it's on. I don't
this
know
on
why
a
it's on Boudica.
Boudica?
Yeah, the pairs are saved as I think it's Herman ZL and Asher
Okay, so you have nothing
YSG.
saved.
I think, but
Okay.
yeah.
So I'm gonna put it on Asher and CL.
ZL.
I think I'll make it easier. Okay, so you have one on this one on Boudica? What's going on? Alright. Let me put this on ZL. So what's going on with this one on Herman?
I think it might as like leftovers or something. Yeah.
So we can lock this. This one worth locking. I guess we'll keep it locked for now. Me. That should be an upgrade over the one on ZL already. Same thing for this. Okay. Alright, that just needs to go. Keep that. CC and a Ragnar.
No idea.
All right, no, I got it.
He should probably be on a triple line anyway, shouldn't he?
Yeah. Right, we don't need this. It's low triple stat. We don't need that. We don't need that. That's pretty good. Let's see. Then we don't need this. That. We'll keep that one. Okay, the Ragnar.
There's something on Monitory as well.
Oh yeah, there's one on a Monitory.
Yeah, she has a epic one on her.
Yeah, I'll go clear it off. Okay, that one's actually worth saving. see how this one is. I would actually not. I would lock it, sure, but you probably don't need to. This one might just be because you don't have anything better. Let's see. That one for sure you don't need. All right, where's this Monitory?
It's down below Boudica.
It's crazy. Oh, is it crazed on here?
Yeah.
All right.
The hell?
All right. So okay, I think all the crazy stuff is off, people. Let's clean this up again. Okay. So now let's mess around with this. So obviously we want your archers to be in a good place first.
Yeah.
Slim pickings.
Very. But you see, that's why I came to someone who has a better idea about it than I do.
Well, for sure, this one I would just place. Right. And then actually isn't bad here. Let's see. All right. We'll call this one Archer 2. Oops, what am I doing? There we go. It might be flipped. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, so you definitely want to switch. I think you actually lose your stats. So 2.8, 1.5, 2.7. So this is one I would. This is actually the one I would switch. Just do it now. The one on Asher, right?
Yeah.
So we want to make that an Intrepid. It's kind of scary. All right, here we go.
See what it does.
Okay,
Oof.
that's very unlucky. Okay. Let's roll that out. I mean,
It's shit that it randomizes the stats that are going to be on it, but
what do you do? Let's see. Yeah, it sucks too because they're going for something specific. Actually, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's actually not bad at all. Let's see. My God. All right, we're gonna stop there for now. I mean, it's not good. You're not gonna lock this actually, but
I take it you wouldn't stack those onto the one march. You'd separate them.
I would
Or would
stack
you
them on.
stack them?
I would stack them on March.
Okay.
It doesn't really matter that much. Like, I get the thought process. If you want to spread it out. Okay. attack. I think this is yeah, it's just better. Okay. Wow, so this actually goes to the bench. This we will replace here. This will actually call Archer 1. Okay. And then this is kind of a plug and play, I guess.
It's just making the best of like a semi-bad situation.
This is, I actually like this a lot more. I just don't think that's worth even using a transmutation crystal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You still have a robust, which is cool. Okay. So that's the archers. I think obviously as you get more stones, and you have 2 crystals, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look through the Inf and Cav, and then we might actually just use the rest of them on here and get as much as we can. Let's take a look at your arch first. Oh, there's nothing. Okay. That's not too bad. Okay. Wait.
If I remember correctly, the flag slot, that was literally the only one that was there. There was 3 emblems and 1 flag when I put them on.
Yeah.
And these were just kind of the best of a bad situation.
Okay. So there's like
There's only
no
the
arch
4.
at all.
No, nothing at all.
Okay, so just start pulling arch, and then
Yeah.
and then you do have some conversion stones. There's some we could probably switch over. Actually, let me take a look. Wait. There's all the other slots.
There's a triple line.
Yeah. There's a couple I wanted to switch. This one for sure. Just make sure. I don't think it's really needed for Archer. Yeah, you have Intrepid and then Rapacious. So that one is going to go to Arch.
I think Liu has an arch one already. I can't remember what it is. Yeah, because it becomes the emblem. I was asked.
Yeah, but it's skill damage.
Oh yeah, so it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that one would actually make more sense by switching it over to Wedge for the future. So that one I think should go to this one was. We don't need that. That could actually be a hunter in the future if you want to go down that route. This could be Onslaught's pretty good. Oh no, but you don't need that. Fit instrument. That actually could go in your instrument slot. I think that's the best.
The square double wasn't that a decent one?
Oh yeah, this is really good. Okay, let's start with this. All right, that's 3 out of the 7. Okay, perfect. And then
It's only
So it's
Warflames.
over now.
So
Yeah, Warflame is just 1%. And it doesn't even have the stats, anyways. We'll still keep
Yeah.
this here for now.
No.
Okay, that's good. Switch. So you have 4 more.
Is it 4 to do a rare inscription?
It's 3 to do a rare.
And is that? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let me just look. Yeah, this count needs to get into KBK.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you put that as emblem in the north, that would become what, 4% normal damage? Is that what
What?
fearless, whatever it is?
This?
So if you move that, if you move that to an arch formation.
I think it's called let me see. One is even keeled, and the other is I'll take a look.
See, legendary is fearless, isn't it?
The legendary one would be fearless, yes. But I think still pretty
blue
good.
one is
I forgot what it's called. Not even killed. Forceful, yeah. 3% boost.
Oh, 3%. Okay. So it's not half. Alright.
Okay. I wish you had like 1 more stone. Because then I can actually convert. But I think it's okay, we're gonna convert it over. Make a lot more sense right now. It's a waste of a good siege stats, though. You know, what do you do?
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Well, you have artisan there. This will already be better. Jeez. Oh wait. Oh no. It's fine. It's 1%. 1.5% MStat.
Hey, it went up.
Yeah. Like, Jesus. This is just bad luck. Oh my god. It's like worse. Oh my god, dude. So this actually, when we replace it, I think you might just go calf with this when you
Oh, okay, I see what you're
set
doing.
it.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to either calf or and this is actually a fairly high calf. Okay. I'm very unlucky though. That was very unlucky. And then we'll just build a well, there's nothing to build. Okay. Are we out of stones?
Apart from that.
8 stones.
Uh,
All right. Let's hope we get lucky. Oh my god. Last one. Oh, nice. All right. Boom. Okay. Oh, sick. Okay. Okay, so this one just has 1 more slot. This one, as soon as you run out, just reset it, right?
Yeah.
So there's 1 more. Oh, yeah, 3. You still have 3 more slots. Hopefully, you don't have to reset it. So essentially, what you want to do is you want to save the crystal. You want to save the transmutation. Yeah, you want to save 1 transmutation crystal. Right, so hopefully you won't even need to use 1. You could get an archer stat in the next 3 rolls here.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you don't, then you have to use it. Yeah, if you don't get an archer stat, then use it right. Use it as soon as you have more to reset this until you get this triple stat, right? Because something like this, you're just not going to replace, right? So it's like it's okay to go on for everything else. You kind of want to hoard. Now, if you do somehow get lucky and get a archer stat, it could be a 1.5 health. Like take it in the next 3.
Yeah.
Then I would actually use that transmutation crystal on this and just start like working on Cav, right? You don't have to do it right away.
Yeah.
But then it's worth it to use it because like if you save too many of those transmutation crystals, it doesn't do anything, right? Like it's just sitting there like doing. You have to use it on something. You just don't want to have to try to get a triple stat on a special and then not be able to, right? So if you can, then you're good there. I would pull for arch only. You need to start filling this out.
Yep.
And yeah, a lot of it is just.
But the wedge formation, would you still leave it on the wish list on wedge? Would you still leave that the same for a second intrepid?
I'm personally a fan of just doing, trying to fill out 4 specials. Intrepid's better than Unstoppable, right? But if you get another Intrepid, you're gonna put on your second archer set. So like it's like it's like, do you want the better inscription, or do you want to just kind of try to complete a march? My personal feeling is I like to complete a march. But like for field accounts, especially for a field account like yours, it actually probably is better to go Intrepid, right? Because this is going to give your overall production on the field more of an increase. Like how do I want to put this? Your production doesn't care that like one set looks really, really good, right? It just cares about how to do the maximum amount of output. So I'll leave it on Intrepid, but you could decide if you want to switch it over. Like, it's just in the wrong choice. It's just like this is slightly worse than this.
Okay.
But then if you get another Unstoppable, right, you literally don't have an inscription here. And that would be a pretty big upgrade too. So, I don't know. And like, if you had a lot more stones, right, this would be worth it to trust, even like try to get a decent inscription. Like, you don't really even have one to start with though, like starting like wasting like 50 stones on embattled, just I don't know, I don't think it's worth it.
Doesn't really feel like the right.
Yeah, like basically, so the less resources you have, the more you hoard, the easier it is to close the gap. Well, because like other people that are spending like 10 times as much will do this stuff and they'll get some improvement, right? But you only use your stones on rares, good doubles, or specials, right? You're essentially every single one of your stones is not going to go to waste. Whereas like someone else spent like 80 stones on getting this armored to good triple stat. Well, a good double comes along, right, and they start working on it again. Like literally, the whole thing went to waste if they were replacing it. So this is like weird thing where my personality, I hate hoarding, but hoarding actually makes a big difference. All right. Other than that, I think that's everything we could do here. But you kind of know what to do next year.
Yeah.
But just for Arch, I think what's going to happen at some point, and you might get to see it, is that I think eventually they're going to combine all of this on the back end, the wish list for all the different armament types. Right. So like I don't think these 3 will go to waste. I just think until they combine it, it would just be like one of these where and the reason why I decided you should go Arch is because I don't think you're going to be opening enough legendaries fast enough, right? And when you're doing this math, you're just always assuming that you're going to get very unlucky and it's going to be on the 10th and then you're going to hit it. Right? That's going to be a long,
Yeah.
long time of just pulling wedge to try to, get the other 7. Whereas, like, what you really,
Yeah.
really need is arch right now. So you just have to kind of pivot and then, either you get back to this later or they actually combine it on the back end before you get back, which is probably going to happen.
Yeah.
All right.
Bit of a waiting game either way.
Yeah. All right, man. Other than that,
All right,
any
cool.
other questions or anything?
No, I just need to craft a whole load of potentially rubbish gear and see where I end up.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to stop recording. Let's see.